be.
Safest place to be.
All right. Before we get started, can you do me a big favor? Because we're on this thingy now. It's a 100-year thingy. I'm going to explain to you what it is. But I want this church to really be relational. Say relational.
Relational.
Not the kind cordial kind. Not the kind cordial kind. Real kind. Okay, so can you do me a favor? Can you get up and go and talk to someone you don't normally talk to or haven't talked to? Okay, we have a couple of new people. Go ahead. Take about a couple minutes. Introduce yourself. Go. You can do remember the 4 thing? I think it's 4, right? Family, occupation, recreational, and dream. Okay, so you can use that. But don't do it in order. Do door first. Okay, so everybody stand up and move around and introduce yourself, get to know each other. All right, take about a minute more. That's good. It looks like you're really enjoying yourself. All right. Before you sit down, why don't you ask the person what are they doing for lunch? Maybe you can take them out to lunch and continue getting to know the person. But why don't you have a seat? We'll get started. I'm going to try to crank this out. Why don't we thank all our faithful volunteers, the load team, the setup team. Thank you very much. I just give my hand. They're probably the guys that's going to be first in heaven. All of you that do the behind the scenes, the more important work. Thank you for flexing. Thank you for braving the weather. Awesome. Well, we've been talking about the church, right? And I really want to get us a foundation of how the church started, why does the church exist, and where we're going as a church. Every nation has been around for 20-something years. If you want to read along with me or understand the history of our covering or our movement, it's called Every Nation. And Steve Morrow is our president. He has a book called 100 Years From Now. So he's talking about what would the church look like 100 years from now? Where would every nation be? Where would we be? Innovative concepts. We can't just have a short mindset. I know we say 25 years, but we have to actually vision out 100 years. We actually have 4 generations in this church. So we're very blessed.
Yes.
4 generations. Okay, so that's a sign of a healthy church. Now, if you just saw people like me, my age, then you would begin to worry, okay? Because that means we have a short vision, all right? And so we got to continue on our values of reaching the lost and continue to help this church to be healthy and to grow. We're not going to grow by marketing, okay? We're not going to grow by doing a lot of events. The one way we're going to grow is through relationships. So all we're going to do, I'm excited because I think after all the things that I did and all the schizophrenic things and all the tricks and the trickery and, you know, that was good in the beginning. We had fun. Now we're beginning to get a little bit older as a church, okay? We're 13 years old. We're getting a little bit older. We're getting a little bit more mature. So we should be a little bit better as far as focus and what we're going to do. So the one thing we're going to do is win the loss. Say, win the loss.
Win the loss.
Can you clean my sound up, please? And we're going to make disciples, okay? So some people in the business world, they call it mentorship, okay? But we're going to make disciples of Christ, and we're going to continue to invest into people and make them the best version of themselves, or they're going to reach their full potential. In other words, whatever they're called to, we're going to be committed and called to make them the full version of themselves. All of you have gifts. All of you have potential, okay? And everyone is unique. There's gifts, your spiritual gifts, and then there's your talents. Some of you can play music. Some of you can cook. Some of you are very hospitable, or you can do things that other people cannot. That's a talent, okay? Your spiritual gifts were given to you before you were born. God said, before you were born, I knit you in your mother's womb. I knew who you are. So God intricately, say intricately. Say, look at each other. See, that's the word. Okay. In IC, that's a word. So intricately, okay? It's like frustrated. That's a word. See, in IC, that's a word. So look at each other and say, don't be frustrated. See, don't be so rigid. Learn new words. So intricately, God knit you. All intellectual, like having a hard time. Like chalk, like fingernails on the chalkboard every time I say it. That's what I like to say it. So intricately, you were custom made. Okay, you weren't randomly born. You didn't come from a stork or a monkey. You weren't just dropped on earth. God took a lot of time pre-planning you and making you and knitting you. So you have a purpose, you have talents, you have gifts for a very, very specific assignment in life, okay? You have to decide, what is that assignment? What is my calling? Why do I exist? If you look at last week, right, you can always go to our website. I gave you some questions to ask yourself. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Okay, so that's how you live a purposeful life. That's how you get up, and you don't randomly just do things and waste your life. How many lives do you have?
One.
How many purposes do you have?
One.
One. You got to find that out. Okay, that you hone in, you focus in, and that's all you do. That's all you're committed to do. You don't get distracted, especially in society. We're going to have more distraction because of our technology and media. And how many of you get distracted in the daytime from your phone,
Yeah.
your iPads? How many of you have friends that are very distracting? They're always pulling you away from stuff, right? And so you got to fight these distractions. You have to learn how to say no. It's called boundaries. You have to boundary your priorities and your emotions. All right, take out your notes. Last week I talked about leading one another, right, to advance the church. Today I'm going to talk about loving one another to advance the church. So if we can make it a habit, when you come in the morning, yeah, you can go all the way to the snack bar. We're in a showroom over here. Walk to the snack bar, get your coffee, get your donuts, whatever you need to do. There's a lot of fat-free donuts back there, and you eat as much as you want. and then you put. I know you guys like to get settled, right? Some of you are very, all your things is there. Okay, so you get settled, but before you sit, make it a point to go to someone that you don't normally talk to. Okay, greet them, talk to them. You can use the fourth thing, right? Family, occupation, recreation, and dream. You can start there. Don't do it every Sunday though. Okay, hey, how's it going? How's your family? Okay, mix it up, get a little bit creative, but really get to know each other, the people that you're going to serve with, really love each other. Okay, so we're continuing in 1 Thessalonians, okay? 1 Thessalonians is a Thessalonica church. Paul planted this church with Timothy and Silas. It's a very good church. It's a thriving church. But like every church, every family, they got what? Trouble. Say trouble.
Trouble.
Problem. Say problem.
Problem.
So once a month, I meet with the Every Nation pastors or Grace Bible pastors. So there's about 8 of us, okay? And we get together, and we don't talk about the latest church growth strategy. What we do is we come together as leaders, as pastors, and we process our soul. Say soul.
Soul.
We process our heart, okay? Because get a lot of, what do you call that? Kilopia or kakilos. Our hearts can become like the alawai. Now, you may not believe that. You may think, oh, pastors, they must be the most spiritual and righteous people on earth, right? Because we're always praying, we're reading the Bible, and we're worshiping every day through the week, right? That's our job, right? And I'm telling you a little glimpse of the reality of we are the worst people sometimes because of the pressure and the stress and the ideals that we have. We're very separated from society sometimes. And if you're getting used to it, if a pastor gets used to the praises, Proverbs says a man is tested by the praises he receives. Good job, good message. Pastor, have a problem. Pastor, what about this? Pastor, what about that? And then we do weddings and we do special events. You get caught up in that cyclone of in reality. Is that a word? Unreality, disreality, whatever. Not real. So a lot of the churches that were planted, even the mega churches, right? There was recently a mega church in South Carolina, a very good pastor. I used to follow him, read his stuff. 30,000 people recently just got fired because of drinking and just other things. And, the public statement is a public statement, but there's a lot more. There's another pastor in Seattle, again, 25,000, just good church. I kind of follow these guys. I try to learn. recently had to step down. So the churches that were started maybe 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, did well. But as they continue on the journey, the pressure gets more. The insatiable appetites, like numbers and growth. So this one pastor, his goal was to get 100,000 people. That was his number. He had 30,000, he wanted 100,000. And in the midst of chasing that goal, that vision, he wrecked his marriage. He ended up drinking and all a bunch of other things. There's a pastor locally that there was some mismanagement of money, and he burned out, and he's probably not coming back to Hawaii. He's in Romania now. So there are a lot of pastors that are just burning out. They're just doing crazy things. And so one of the things that we hear in this church, we're talking about small is big. We have to keep each other. The word, we use this word very, what do you call that? Lightly, accountability. And we feel that accountability is going to keep us from falling or failing. And that's not true. Accountability doesn't really work. Accountability is just the ability to be accountable, but all it does is just allows you to push back, but you still don't have to be really honest in accountability. Does that make sense? So it depends on the person, on how much they want to be vulnerable, transparent, truthful. So those of you young marrieds, don't try to fall into, oh, we're going to keep each other accountable, because that doesn't work. Because the person on the other side is very subjective, so he's only going to, I'm going to say he, because I'm a he, so I'm the he's. Not the family he's, but the he's, the males. I tell you, man, men, because of our egos, we lie. And so it's very subjective to what he wants to share. He knows after a while, right? He knows your game, so he knows how to share just enough to get by. And once he gets by, it's done. So you're gonna have to learn, like me, to be tenacious like a gorilla and to get to that truth. But it takes like 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours, 10 years. You gotta pound and dig, and then sometimes you gotta use dynamite, sometimes you gotta use the bazooka, sometimes, but because our culture, right? Asian, say Asian.
Asian.
That's why I say don't be Asian. Look to your neighbor and say don't be Asian.
Don't be Asian.
We're very, very passive, complacent. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to make people mad. We're very, hey, you know, and what happens is that, yes, you can be like that, but at the end of the day, people lose, okay? People lose. I'm telling you, because when people call me, it's not for good times. It's not, hey, Pastor Dow, I was just thinking about you. You know, you do such a great job, so I wanted to take you to heights in gratitude and appreciation for your wonderful, tremendous, awesome, extravagant, excellent service. Normally when they call me, guess what? I said, Dad, we're in trouble. I need your help. Can you come? Can you come right now? Oh my God. I said, yes, I'm just sitting by my phone. I'm not doing anything. I was waiting for God. God spoke to me and said, you're going to call today. That's why I put you on voicemail, and then I heard your voicemail, and I deleted it, and then I just changed my number, and I changed carrier. What is that phone the drug guys use? When you change the SIM and throw it away? Burner. Hey, how do you guys know? Yeah, I use burner phone. So back then, they didn't have technology. They didn't have email, text, and all that. So when they separated, when Paul had to travel, so he left, he trusted the people, he had faith, but back then, there were a lot of false prophets, there were a lot of false teachers, and we talked about last week and how the Jewish leaders, because they were afraid of their position, was attacking the church. They were telling the church different story. They say, Paul doesn't want to come back. Silas doesn't want to come back. They don't really care about you, blah, blah. So here Timothy's a young guy, probably in his 20s, and Paul sends him back because Paul and Silas are stuck. They send Timothy to address the church, okay? He says, you got to tell them this. You got to remind them that we look forward to see them. No, we love them, okay? To stay strong in your faith. Remember the teachings. Remember what we did. Remember the times that we spent together, not just in prayer, but the fellowship and, the reminders of the principles we live by. Okay, it's not random kind of stuff. That's why I talk about it's not preferences, okay? It's purpose, that we have a purpose as a spiritual family, as a church, okay? Don't get distracted. In life, you're going to face trouble and problems and failure, and you're going to get distracted. You're going to feel like quitting. You're going to feel like throwing in the towel. Everybody feels like that. Life is hard. For you young people, guess what? Sorry. As you get older, it gets harder, more pressure, more stress. I mean, it's a good thing you're young, but it's also the reality, it gets harder, it gets older. The higher you go in life, the more promotions, the money gets harder. It gets difficult in handling and balancing and juggling. And when you're single, right, the plates, you just spin one plate, right, when you're single, right? The plate on the stick, you saw that picture? So you're just spinning one, right? And you're poor, so it's just a paper plate. Right? So you're spinning. So you think you're good, right? Oh, I can spin that. And then you meet someone, right? Oh, then you get 2 plates. Now you got 2 paper plates. Now you go, and then you get kids, right? And now you got 3 or 4 or 5 paper plates. And you, after a while, what's going to happen?
Down.
You're running back and forth. What's going to happen? The plates are going to fall, right? You're going to drop at least one, right?
Yeah.
And normally, which plate gets dropped?
Marriage.
The marriage, the spouse. Why? Because we tend to take it for granted. We tend to feel like, oh no, they're always going to be home. They're always going to be there. That's why I drill a lot of men, because they take advantage of their wives. They think, oh, the wife's just going to be there, clean the house, take care of the baby. And she's always there. She has no dream. She has no potential. She has no purpose. When she married me, our purposes and dreams became one, but it's my dream, it's my purpose. And you, honey, you support me, right? Who said no? That's reality. Now, a lot of men, they're not malicious. They're just misguided in how to be a husband, how to be a father. A lot of men can be good companions and good husbands and good fathers, but if you want to be great, that's a whole nother level. Okay, I try to teach men how to be great, a great man, a great person, father, husband. And now I'm very grateful. I'm beginning to be a great, what do you call that? Grandfather. And in the other role, I know I'm a great father-in-law. I'm very grateful for these roles. The reason why I say I'm great, because gratitude means you just have a great attitude. That's all. I'm not the top dog. I'm not better. I just try to practice and practice. But as life goes on, and the girls are, Deandra and Chrissy getting older, and the older you get, the less you know. The less you know, the less you fail, the more you're failing. And I gotta grab that reality. I don't know it all. I gotta listen to someone 30 years my junior. How hard is that?
Wow.
Yeah. So for you that are 25, you have to listen to like a 7-year-old or a 17-year-old. They're gonna tell you what to do. You gotta humble yourself. You gotta have humility. Okay, right, I can see that. And so Paul was committed to advancing the church. This is why we have church today, people. Church started 2,000 years ago, and because of these people, these men that gave their lives for the church, they dedicated their lives for the church. This is why we have church today. It's not randomly that we just went on. A lot of churches closed. A lot of churches, Pastor Kevin was telling us, that started churches that didn't believe in the Trinity. They don't believe in Christ, but they started churches. There's this term called nuns, N-O-N-E-S, nuns. Say nuns.
Nuns.
Not the nuns in the Catholic, but the nun. The nuns are the kids of the parents that went to church but never really believed in the church or God. So all these churches, different streams, planted churches, but they didn't believe in Christ. They didn't believe in the resurrection, crucifixion. They just went to church, they fellowship. Sometimes they got into the Bible, sometimes they didn't. But Monday through Saturday, they lived a different lifestyle. So these nuns, these kids saw their parents, right? They were one way on Sunday, right? They dress up, they give high five, you go, hallelujah, praise the Lord, even sing some songs, and went home. Monday through Saturday, they were a different person. They were different people. They were into different stuff. And the kids saw this, and they immediately said, I don't want that. So when they got older, none of them wanted to go to church. So today we have a deficit in the younger generation of them wanting to go to church because of what was modeled to them. You guys understand that? So they're called the nuns. And a lot of the churches that were planted and closed were really churches that didn't really believe in the basics of Christianity and the Trinity and all these things that we believe in. Am I making sense? So they didn't use the word. So we have a lot of work to do. We're kind of leveling off now, okay? So our church, our movement, Every Nation, this is why we have a 100-year vision going out, because we want the church to be around at least for your kids, right? Your kids' kids. So maybe 5 or 6 generations. So we can't just today. So 13 years, yes, it's good to celebrate. It's something to celebrate, but it's nothing to really celebrate. We're like an adolescent church, right? So we're still kind of bratty. We're still kind of, need a couple slaps in the head and spanking and all that. So when I need my spanking, I go to Pastor Marvin and we process. And, okay. So Grace Bible, like I said, is 20 years, Pearlside. Overall, Grace Bible is 50 years. So we come from a good history and legacy, very good leaders. Pastor Norman always mentors me and keeps me on track. Now we have Every Nation, Pastor Kevin. He'll come once a month, he talks, and then we learn. He says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, and we're going to be in verse 6. He says, but now Timothy has just returned, bringing us good news about your faith and love. He reports that you always remember our visit with joy, and that you want to see us as much as we want to see you. So the only way they communicate is Paul wrote letters. He's writing a letter to the church. So we have been greatly encouraged in the midst of our troubles and suffering. So one of the things why the church exists is that we can greatly encourage one another in the midst of troubles and suffering in life. How many of you know you're going to go through troubles? How many of you know you're going through suffering? Both are your friends. Both help shape your character and prepares you and enlarges your soul and your heart for the greater things that you're dreaming of, your greatest desires. Am I making sense? You may not find your greatest, deepest desires in your work. You might find it in something else. But the main thing, you find it at some point in your life. Okay? He says, dear brothers and sisters, that's you guys, because you have remained strong in your faith, check it. It gives us what? New life. Say it like new life. Like you just got a brand new car. Just say it. Look at each other. You got a brand new shirt, dress. Be excited, enthusiasm. Go ahead. New life. Okay. So when we come on Sundays at least, or we're going to have our small groups, we're going to call them campus groups. When you come with new life. Come alive. Regardless of your problems and troubles and down and blah, 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 blah. Come with new life, enthusiasm, excitement. The church should always be thriving. It's not subjective and, are you happy or not? Of course you're not going to be happy all the time, but you can be joyful. Joyful is deep down. Joy is not conditioned by your circumstances. It's just that when you come with the people that you're supposed to love, there's a joy that wells up in you, that rises up in you. Am I making sense? So I'm very grateful. After 30 years, I'm still joyful to lead people and pastor people and be in their lives and really commit. So when I do have to pray for you, when I think about you, it's not laborers. I'm not doing it regarding, part of my job description, I gotta love the people. Oh, it's so gross. And when I see your faces, I'm like, ugh, so irritating. Why did you bring them to our church, God? They just cause problems, trouble. Why can't you bring the good people? Why can't you bring the rich people? You know, the good people that just say yes and like, oh, it's so awesome, and they, you know, why? I go, why? Why? You know what God tells me? Look in the mirror. Yeah. So it reminds me of my call. It brings me back. So I don't pray for, you know, the superstars and the rich people. I pray for the people that are genuine in their hearts, but yes, struggling like myself, but you're genuine in your heart. You're good people. You're great people. But we all go through the fire. We all go through the test. We all go through the shaping and the fire that God's trying to bring that very, very precious jewel or gem out of you. Everyone has a gem. It takes work. You have to be refined. This is why we talk about discipleship. It's not a spiritual word. It's called disciplined learning. Someone has to be committed to you, okay, to bring that gem out of you. It's not about just leading you. I wish I could be there. I wish I could just lead you from a distance, do my mastermind video, and say, okay, you guys got it. Good job. Okay, pray for yourselves. Someone, to make it genuine, the church, someone has to love you through it. They got to grab your hand, and they got to grab you, hold on to you, and not let you go, even in your messed up screw-ups. Even in your bad attitude, even when you're being criticized or you do the criticism. The back door, please. You understand? You guys understand that? We're all faulty. I'm very faulty. I'm so grateful that someone grabbed me, held on to me. Someone needs to do that for you. We're not talking about church where we come and we just gather and we talk story and we drink coffee. We're talking about the honest church back 2,000 years ago where Paul knew everybody that he led. Timothy was the same thing. Of all the churches he planted and he tried, he knew people by name. He knew their basic hobbies. And he really put himself in their lives. And he also loved them. But he rebuked them. He trained them. He discipled them. Disciplined them. He was committed to the truth because he wanted the best for the people, for the person. We have to be like that as a church. If not, we're not a church. We have the label of a church, right? Let me have that labeling machine. You should get one. It's awesome. Just get it and just make label. I just label everything on it. It's awesome. If you're like organization me, it's just exhilarating to just print a label and then put it on. Dang! Yeah, like wow, yeah. I don't have much going on in my life. I'm 55, all right? As long as I don't end up crocheting. If I ever crochet, somebody take me out of my misery, shoot me, stab me with that crochet, throw me in the wading pond or something. But a lot of times we just put labels on things because we're smart, we're intelligent, we know what to call it. This is a cup, this is water, this is not fruit punch, this is water, this is a microphone, this is a table, this is a chair. So we do that to ourselves, we begin to put labels and call it what it is, thinking that's what it is when it's not what it is. So I'm very, very intentional or anal about talking to people about frosting and the facading and the fads. A lot of churches today are being planted with the latest fads and trends. That's why they don't last. A lot of young guys are coming out and they think they have the latest trends and fads, but it's not grounded. It's not based on anything. It's just based on their cool ideas. So it doesn't last. Maybe 5 years at the most. But what happens to the people when the church closes? The Andrew guys were going to a church in San Francisco, And it was a good church, upcoming church. I think there were 3 years. I visited, I liked it. I was like, wow, okay. They came one Sunday, it was closed. Nobody was there. And they didn't get any email, any notice. All they heard was the pastor stepping down, he's taking a break. So the worship leader took the church 1 week. Next week he didn't show up. And they never came back. So what happens to those people? What context, idea you think they're going to get about church? You show up to church, no one's there. You didn't get an email, you didn't get a text, phone call. Now what? How do you trust another pastor or church that they're going to be there? But a lot of churches are blowing up 3 years, 5 years, because you can't plant a church with fad. You can't live your life, marriage, family, with fads and trends. If you've never been down the road before, being married, don't make it up. Don't Google everything thinking that, oh, I can interpret words and phrases and you got it. And now your spouse and your kids become what? Guinea pigs, experiments, right? Yeah. Oh, my bad, sorry. Hindsight is 100%. So what is your spouse supposed to say after you hurt her and hurt her and hurt her and hurt her and your kids? Do you take an apology for granted? Have we watered it down? Do you know the word sorry? Say sorry. Sorry. Look at each other and say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
See, it doesn't mean anything. What are you sorry for? A lot of people use the word sorry to say shut up. Okay, sorry then. So you're supposed to shut up. You got to drop that issue. Hey, I said sorry. Forgiveness is rendered. You have to ask for forgiveness. And then the person has to say, yes, I forgive you. But they don't have to do it right then and there. They can take time, process. Don't demand a forgiveness or sorry. Okay? You guys got to know these principles. These are principles for life, relationships. If you want to have healthy marriage, healthy kids, healthy family, healthy friendships, you got to know how to do it. You don't just make it up. You don't sprinkle some pixie dust in there. Okay, anybody can get in a bar. I used to do that. Go to a bar, get drunk, and then talk any kind, and then make like you connected, right? And then you find as you get older, people move away, they get busy. There's no substance to your relationship. Now you're getting older. You got to get a little bit more serious. You got to get, I call it upper mind. You got to get a little more wisdom. This is why the church exists, okay? So I'm going to be leaving, yes, on Tuesday. I'm not coming back till September. So I'm going to be visiting Deandra. She's having her granddaughter, our granddaughter, her daughter. Yeah, so we get 3 grandkids. That means it just added 20 more years to my work life. So I'm working for a purpose. But I also have to pray for a purpose. But I'm going to be gone. And I'm going to trust you guys. I'm going to, Christina's going to be speaking. Prosper, he's going to be speaking. Okay? And that has to be. If you start panicking and say, oh, who's going to lead the gym? Who's going to speak? Any one of you, you have the Holy Spirit. Any one of you can do it. Yeah. Don't put me on a pedestal. For 30 years, all I did was answer God. Yes, yes. And a lot of times, majority of the times, I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't trained. I wasn't educated. I was telling Pastor Kevin, I didn't go to college, any college. So when I got into the ministry, everything was new. Everything was, I didn't know, but they said, you want to do this? Because nobody wanted to do it. Nobody wanted to do operation. No one wanted to do it community. No one wanted to set up. I said, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I didn't have any training. So my training was a lot of scoldings and yelling. Get in my office. Get in my office. Get in my office. I was in the office so much, I thought it was my office. I just inverted the seating arrangement. Like I was the boss, you're sitting there, you know. You ain't all that. It's like a firefight. Attitude. So the people remain strong in their faith, all right? Don't waver. Don't get distracted. Stay focused on each other, all right? I do have that slide, that quote. Where's my quote? So we're going to focus all of our energies and resources on the one priority. And here's one of the quotes from his book. Living a life in pursuit of God's honor means that we're always aware, always mindful, and always sensitive to the presence and person of the Holy Spirit. That we desire to please the Lord in our attitude, our actions, and our words. Pastor Steve gives a story. We exist to honor God. So it starts with that. Your mission starts with that. Your mission statement should say, I exist to honor God. We, innovative concepts, exist to honor God. That should be the number one thing in your life. That you exist to honor God. And then everything else falls under it. Do you know that you should have a personal mission statement for yourself so that you can live, you know what you're living for, living by? You're not just randomly just going through life, but it should start with, we exist. I exist to honor God. So when I read that chapter last night, I just kept on thinking about that. I said, yeah, Jesus made it so simple. Just live to honor him. Seek first the kingdom of God, and he'll give you all these things. Live by priorities. Just in your mind, in your talk, in your walk, your priorities, your choices, just does it honor God or doesn't it honor God? Don't live in the gray area, either or. Be truthful, trustful. Ask yourself that. You got to decipher yourself. Does it honor God? And then no, don't do it. Just don't do it. But don't make someone tell you, hey, Rob, what you doing? Can you do that? Blah, blah. And it goes a 2-hour conversation and just planting seeds on the sidewalk because the heart is so hard. You yourself ask yourself, and what I'm doing, honor God. Does it please God? If it doesn't, don't do it. How many husbands, men, know that your wife is the 4th person of the Trinity? How many know that? Because if you don't get that, you ain't going to be married for long. I'll give you 5 years. Because if you don't really honor that, believe that, I don't know how you're going to get along. But your wife, Bible says, he who finds a wife finds favor from God. That's why a lot of times when you pray to God by yourself, husbands, men, God will not answer you. Because if you're doing an end around with your wife, and your wife is there, and you already have favor, you think you're going to go here to God and ask him, he's not going to answer. Because you're out of alignment priorities. He said, you know what, ask your wife. Oh my God, there's no one. She's saying no. Every time she say no. Every time she tell me no. I feel like I'm in a prison. No, everything no. That's why you ask. But don't do an end around. He ain't going to answer you. So you go, protocol, your wife, the 4th person of the Trinity, okay? We're going to focus all our energies on winning the loss and making a disciple. Okay, you can read the rest later. It's from this book. We're going to focus just on one thing, one priority. And we're going to execute our strategy together. So let's look at where he says, grab, gather, grow, and give. So why don't you put up that graphic? We're going to do this graphic, okay? So we're going to grab. What does that mean? We're going to grab people. We're going to be intentional, okay? I don't want you to always huddle with the people you know. That's how this church is going to be very cliquish. Say cliquish. Yeah, that's how cliques happen. You only hang with the people you like or get along with. We're going to get very cliquish. You have to intentionally put yourself with people you don't like. You don't get along. It's a huge difference. You don't even have the same hobbies. You guys understand? Yeah. So you have to intentionally, like I have to intentionally call Chad. Chad, you have time for lunch. You have coffee. Now he may not like me, you know, because he heard rumors in this church. Hey, I said, Google you, bro. So yeah, well, so we may not connect because he's younger, he's smarter, he has better hobbies, and you know. But we're gonna put all that aside for 1 hour, and then we're gonna connect. We're gonna intentionally connect, but we're also gonna remind each other on why we exist. What is our purpose? To please God. Okay. So he's going to hopefully, when he sits with me, he's not going to sit with me as Pastor Dad. Oh, every time I call people, hey, good lunch. Oh my God, Pastor David want to talk to me. Oh, what is he doing? What is it? I get cameras in your house, in your car. I hear, oh. So hopefully he's going to sit with me like dabbing. I'm dabbing. I'm just dabbing. Okay? And then he's going to say, so what, dabbing? And you're going to feel weird. That's why people call me Petey. To say, Dabbing, so are you pleasing God? Is your life pleasing God? How's your private life? See, we don't do that. We just assume because it's easier, right? That I pray and I read the Bible and he must because he brings messages, right? No, don't ever do that. Don't ever assume I'm doing okay because you make me unhuman, inhuman. I'm human, I'm faulty. So when you call me and text me, once all you have to do is text me. Hey, Petey, how you doing? What you doing? How's your private life? What's cracking, man? If you want me to be around for a long time. Am I making sense? We're committed to loving each other, not just leading each other. So we lay all our stuff is on the side, indifferences and whatever it is, and we commit to one another out of a pure purpose, not preference. Am I making sense? So when I talk about don't pressure out, purpose out, go back to your purpose. Don't pressure out. A lot of the things that you hear are abstract. It's not going to happen. Get clarity, get truth. It takes courage. Okay, so we're going to grab. Say grab.
Grab.
Well, I've been 13 years, I've been saying, take someone new out to lunch, right?
Yep.
And you guys look around and you go, oh, there's no one new. Right? Oh, no one. Oh, yeah. Here's how you make them new. I'm going to ask Chad to go to lunch, but I'm not going to call him Chad. This Sunday, he's going to be Thornton. Hey. I know, my mind, you could never hook me up to the TV. But... Okay, so I'm going to say, hey, what's up, Thornton? What are you doing after lunch? Are you going to go cat? You know, okay, Thornton, let's go ahead. Let's go hang. Just 1 hour, okay? 30 minutes even. Just go grab coffee. So I'm going to really intentionally get to know Thornton. So I'm not going to sit down. I'm not going to be like, hey, what's up, Thornton? Okay, and then, okay. And then I'm going to intentionally put this on silent. And for the next 30, 60, I'm going to focus on Thornton. I'm going to say, Thornton, who named you Thornton? How did you get that name? What does it mean? Because a lot of young people want to come up with cool names and it has no meaning. Stupid. I don't know what that is. Have meaning in your life, okay? So if there's no one new, and don't wait for Sundays. You're supposed to do it during the week. You think about the person, you call them, text, hey, what are you doing after Sunday after church? You have an hour, let's go to lunch. I would love to get to know you. I have to do it for 30 years. I'm an introvert, people. I don't normally come out. I just stay, but I had to bust. I had to go and talk to people and love and learn how to love them and go to lunch and meet with them and do a small group or a mini church. And just put myself once a week in that group. Do you know at one point I had a single mom's small group? Was me, Barbie. I think we had. I don't know if we had it. Me, Barbie, and I had 4 single moms. And I was leading the group.
Wow.
Yeah. But I knew I was being tested. So I had to change it up. I had to flip it. But it thrived the group. They loved it. They loved meeting here. Got to know their kids and everything else. So we're going to grab, then we're going to gather. That's our campus groups now, our small groups. And then we're going to grow. We're going to be committed to growing each other. So we're not going to just get together to just socialize and talk story and all that kind of stuff. We're going to get deep into our lives. We're going to ask the difficult questions. Where are you at? How are you doing? How's your marriage? How's your life? How's your personal life, your private life, your public life? Are you on track? Are you hitting your dreams, your goals? Is to make them leave. That's always my channel. I have an inner channel. I'm going to make this person leave. But they don't leave. But then that's how I'm doing the right thing. But I also know for sure our relationship is what? Based on reality, authenticity. I'm not faking it to them. Maxwell said, I sent a video of pretending. You can fake it, but you're not going to make it. I'm never ever going to fake anybody. I'm not going to hold this title in such high esteem that I got to present and pretend in front of you every Sunday or Sunday, Thursday. You can come to my house anytime. Pop in and see how we live. See how the house is. See the condition, the ambience. My car. You can ride in my car. When I had a car. It's fine, I have a car. Anyway, I borrow cars. You can jump in. It's the same environment. I'm not faking. You can ask Christy. You go home. Yes, I'm the same, a-hole. Yeah, just truthful. I mean, sometimes I'm very moody, but I do love you. To me, love is never an issue. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just a man, all right? Then we're going to grow each other, okay? I'm going to train you guys, the leader, you want to learn. And then we're going to give. We're going to give generously, not just our money, our treasure, but we're going to give our time. We're going to give our talent. Say talent. Everybody has talent. We're going to give generously. We're going to offer. The Bible says every time we come together, we have something to what? Offer. Okay? Any questions? Anybody got it? Yeah. So this is our new graphic. We're just going to, and it's a cycle. Grab, gather, grow, and give. Grab, gather, grow, and give. Say it together.
Grab, gather, grow, and give.
Is that simple enough?
Yep.
Yeah, we're not going to be slick. We're not going to, I'm going to try to come up with some simple resources. This is our discipleship process. This is our basic definitions of our vision. Get back to mission. One passage. Look on your notes. I'm not going to read it all. Ecclesiastes talks about, explains to you why two is better than one, why you have a partner, you can't do life by yourself. And then the last three verses is kind of like guiding passages and verses. Okay, you know Matthew 28, which is on the banner. Acts 2:42 has always been our guiding passage for this church. So we're going to get together, we're going to eat together, pray together, learn together, grow together. There's a purpose why we come together. And then the last one is Matthew 22, where the two things he talks about: love God with all your heart and mind, and love people with all your heart and mind. Same thing. That's all you do. Paul says, the one thing I do, in the midst of all your priorities and to-do lists and to-go lists, there's one thing you need to do. The one thing he says is, I forget the past, look what's ahead. And he's just going to preach the word, win the lost, and make disciples. Yes, you have other priorities, visions, dreams. Yes, that's life. And God will give you all of them if you put his one thing first, the kingdom, Jesus. As you know, I always talk about half Chinese, half Korean. Okay? It's a weird mix. So I always like kind of like that. I mean, I guess I'm creative and I think about things, but to a fault sometimes. So as I'm getting older, a little bit more mature, like wine, fine wine takes a long. I'm beginning to it's just one thing. It's just this one thing, relationship with people. Just people. So you notice we're not going to do the smoke screen. We're not going to do the fog machine. We're not going to do confetti. We're going to do simple excellence. Because I very believe in excellence. We're not going to go over the top. We're not going to over image. Okay? You is who you is. I'm is who I'm is. What you see is what you get. But I do believe in excellence. It's a way of honoring God and honoring people.
How you doing?
I'm not going to force people to just accept where I'm at. Come into my dirty car and, oh, sorry, just hold your nose. You know, that kind of thing. That's dishonoring. Okay? I want to work hard to honor people, honor God. So I'm hoping that you can be a part of our family in our church. Not just attend, like we talked about, but be a believer, be a giver, a goer, a grower, a gatherer. Be committed. Do the one thing. And I promise you, because you're looking at a live testimony, God will give you the deepest desires of your heart when you're putting faith. And I know you cannot see it. I know that you think your dreams and whatever it is big and how we're going to get there. You get there by putting God first. That's all you do. Don't get distracted. Don't be slick that you know better or you went to school or you have 10 letters after your name. 10 letters is just same as the alphabet. It's just mixed up. I'm good. I'm glad you're intelligent. I'm glad you have education, but don't put your significance in it. Put it in God, right? That's your identity. So when you go through problems and troubles or whatever is suffering, you identify with Christ. You go back. But now you got to forget your old side. Look ahead. Look what's up ahead. What does God have planned for you? And that's what you live for. Am I making sense? Very good. Thank you, people. All right?
Amen.
Awesome. Thank you, Pastor Davin. You know, this morning, as he talked about 100-year vision, when I heard that he was talking about that, I got excited. Because for me, like, it was a reminder how, because you're here today, and because of what you do today, and because you're part of this family, it'll matter 100 years from today. And that's an amazing thing that we can say. And so when you give this morning, I just encourage you to give, knowing that that's the foundation that we're laying, something that will last 100 years. I'm going to pray. Dear Lord God, Lord, I thank you for this morning. I thank you for every single person here. I thank you that you have 100-year vision for this family. And I just pray for the tithes and the offerings that you would bless it, and you would bless every single person here financially in Jesus' name. Amen. So as always, you have your 4 ways to give. The titles are going to be coming around. We also have our online at ichoy.com, and we have our card readers with Chrissy and Christy. And I have Prosper, he's going to be doing our values.
Good morning, everybody. So we just finished 21-day fast on Tuesday, right? Yeah, for me, it was the first time doing the Daniel's fast, and in the beginning, it was pretty easy the first 3-4 days, but after that, it got really difficult. And to some people, it's harder in the beginning and easier at the end, but I just ran out of what to do. Yeah. So probably between now and December, I don't need to eat any kale or beans anymore. I don't know for me. But the most important thing is you feel really fulfilled for what you're praying for during the fast. After those 21 days, it felt really amazing. So it was a good experience for me. I hope you guys could say the same thing. So today we have the leaders meeting at 12 at Kolani at the conference room. So it's going to be mainly about talking about the ways of creating a better small group. I remember when I first came here, the small group that PD started, it really encouraged me because we had leaders in the group which I didn't really know what was a small group at the time, but the way they introduced me into a small group, I remember one of them telling me that he struggled being like coming out saying he's gay, or I can't really remember, but he said something like that. You know, it really encouraged me because I was like, wow, how would you even come and say that in public, to tell people in church, don't judge me, I'm from my background and everything is kind of different at the time. So it was really strange for me, it made me to really open up to certain things. It made me believe that those things that you hide with inside, it's very important to come to a family that you could trust and just share all of that. That's the essence of a small group. So, you know, sometimes the problem shared is kind of half solved, you know. So that is what we're going to be discussing today. Even if you cannot make it to the meeting, just make sure you try to belong to one of our small groups. So have a great week. Take someone out to lunch. Help us break down.